It's always a tear
Yeah.
type thing. Yeah. We shouldn't be talking about vomit this early.
Happy Monday.
Yeah. They're not prepared
What
for
a
this.
way to start the show.
Last thing about vomit. Ever come out of your nose? That
Oh,
shit
that's
is
the
awful.
worst. That's the worst.
Every single time. I've never not done that.
You should get that checked.
Maybe.
Feels like
Maybe.
something's connected that's not supposed to be
No,
there.
your nostril and your ear and your throat, all of that is connected.
Thank you for the pharmacy lesson.
I just don't have
on
it
this
coming out of my
Monday.
ears. How wild would it be to have stuff coming out of your ears? Like you never laughed so hard, water came out
Yes,
your nose?
of course.
Okay. What if you could laugh so hard it would squirt
your
out of
ears?
your ears?
Yeah, why did we limit? Why was the human body limited to only coming out the nose in that case? It'd be so much funnier if it came out
If it
your
came out the ears?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be real dangerous because that means everybody to your left and to your right is going to catch it.
Yeah.
And that's all that earwax and stuff coming out. Ugh. That doesn't sound wonderful at all.
No.
All right, what was the song?
Move from Dreamgirls, the movie soundtrack. Move, move, move right out of my life. You better move, which kind of fits today.
Okay.
Because moves have been made. But there is a line in that song that I'd forgotten about that's so good, where she says, "You're so horribly satanic, the way you lead me around, I feel just like the Titanic, I'm always going down." Oh, what a bar for Effie there. It's staying, it's going nowhere.
That's the first song, right?
Is Move the first song?
Is Move not the first song? Is that not the song that they're doing at the singing contest?
Yes. Yeah, it is the first song.
Okay.
That is how it opens. You're correct. Wow, look at you.
I was like, yeah, this
Proud of you.
is gonna be.
Because then I thought that early on is the Cadillac car song, which I always
Got
loved.
me a
Cadillac,
Cadillac.
Cadillac, Cadillac, got me your Cadillac car.
The one I like
Look at me,
is
mister, I'm a star.
the one right after that. So they do that
Stepping
version.
through the bad
that one right
side.
there.
Do,
What
do,
a
do.
good villain song. Like I'm throwing that in there as a villain song.
Yeah, it is a villain
But I
song.
don't know if they are villainous. They have to step into the bad side to keep from being taken advantage of.
That's such a good,
Such a banger.
A good opening 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because then 5 is Love You, I Do. I love you, baby, I do, do, do.
Okay.
Do, 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 do. And that's
So wait,
on
that's
the
1, 2,
Dreamgirls
3, 4,
movie.
5?
Yes.
Oh, that is.
Great open, almost like us. What's up, everybody? It is Monday, June 16th. It is going to be a good day. Jessica Benson with you from the Grind City Media Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. CJ Hurt behind the glass. Coming up on today's show, oh boy, a massive change in Memphis over the weekend. Desmond Bane traded to the Orlando Magic. The Grizzlies get a haul back. We will get into what it all means, trade reactions as the Grizzlies enter what could be a bit of a retooling era. Damichael Cole from the Commercial Appeal, beat writer over there, is going to join us about 20 minutes in to talk through it all, break it all down, and then we'll get into the rest of a very busy weekend. We have a tied series in the NBA Finals, 2-2. Pacers, Thunder, Game 5 tonight. We had a crazy finish at the U.S. Open. Caitlin Clark returned from injury and immediately turned one of the more impressive halves we have ever seen in the WNBA. We'll do some Hot Mess Express. It's a Monday. You know what we say. Just a simple, let's go. Let's go! We already said that!
Feels great to feel the sunshine. Gotta own the day like it's all mine. Just got paid in his own time. Been working hard, I've been on the grind. I deserve this feeling, having my way. I've been on this healing. This is my day. The sun's out, hey, let's have a little fun now. Hey, I wanna let it all out. Hey, that's what it's all about. Hey, hey, 'cause I deserve this feeling of having my way. I deserve this healing. This is my day.
Grind City Media presents The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt. Live from the Grind City Media Studios on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. What an unexpected way we are starting our Monday. First and foremost, I hope all the dads out there had a wonderful Father's Day weekend. I was with my dad in Denver over the weekend, and we had a wonderful time. We played some golf. We played some tennis. We are coming for you, CJ. I can't wait for the doubles matchup.
You don't have to go very far.
Me
You
with
got
half
me
an Achilles
now.
and my 73-year-old father.
He's got me beat
We're gonna
now.
take you down.
Y'all can beat me right now.
We had a lovely time. Watched the finals, both the NBA finals and the Stanley Cup final, and watched the US Open and watched the College World Series. And then yesterday he was driving me to the airport as we ended our Father's Day weekend. And all of a sudden my phone started going absolutely berserk. I had like 8 straight text messages. Chris is calling me, and I look down and I see a Shams Charania notification that the Memphis Grizzlies had traded Desmond Bane. And I said, sorry, Dad, our time has been cut a little short, as I took in the news that, yes, Desmond Bane had been traded to the Orlando Magic. And the full summary of this trade: the Magic get Desmond Bane, the Grizzlies get Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Cole Anthony, 2025 16th pick, so that's 16th pick in this year's draft, 2026 first rounder, which is the best pick of Phoenix or Washington, 2028 unprotected first round, 2030 unprotected first round, 2029 lightly protected first round pick swap. And CJ, I don't know about you, but my immediate response was, they got all that for Desmond Bane? Desmond Bane, who I desperately tried to make an all-star. My God, did I try to make Desmond Bane for all-star happen. Not once, not twice. I think I did it 3 times, but it never became a thing. It just never was. And so I, again, went back to counting those picks. 1, 2, 3, 4 unprotected first-round picks for Desmond Bane, plus 2 rotation players in KCP and Cole Anthony. And we'll get into what their future could look like in Memphis. But it was a ridiculous haul. Was that similar to your response?
Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, imagine what somebody might be able to get for Kevin Durant or Giannis or Luka even.
We do winners, losers of trades so quickly. If there is one loser, I'm not willing to define a winner. I think both teams won, and we can get into it. The loser of yesterday, the Dallas Mavericks again.
Not the Dallas Mavericks.
Nico Harrison
there
again.
You go. There
Nico
it
Harrison
is.
once again looks absolutely Looney Tunes for the trade. You trade Luka to the Lakers for Anthony Davis and some beans, and the Magic had to give up 2 rotation players and 4 unprotected picks, including a real juicy one in next year's 2026 pick for Desmond Bane. Like, that's the biggest. The forever takeaway is every trade will always be measured up to the Luka trade from here on out, and I feel like every trade from here on and thereafter will once again make Nico Harrison and company with the Dallas Mavericks look goofy, even though they were gifted with their ineptitude at the number 1 pick in this year's draft. It doesn't take it away. But yes, I'm with you. You go into the, what does this mean for everybody else?
What's juicy about the 2026 pick?
Well, you get into the assumption, and I would be quicker to put a pause on how bad the Phoenix Suns are going to be.
So it's the Suns pick?
It's the Suns pick or the Washington Wizards pick, but I believe it's top 8 protected from the Wizards, but it's the best of those 2.
Gotcha.
And so the assumption is that it is going to be a good pick. The assumption for me also becomes okay, how do you use that pick? How do you use any of these picks? And the biggest thing that you look at this trade from the Grizzlies side of things, and you say, there is no universe where you don't accept this trade. And I, somebody who sat on the side of, well, maybe it's not yet the right time to give up on the big 3 in Memphis of Ja, Jaren, and Dez. And listen, I have always been a Desmond Bane believer. Like, I'm not gonna punt on that now. I'm not going to switch it up. I have always believed in Desmond Bane, and the Bane train will be missed. Downhill Des will be missed. I swear to you, I have never received more texts or messages from the female fan base of the Memphis Grizzlies in regards to a news notification. They are going to miss him. That's all I'm going to say. The Grizzlies girlies are in shambles from yesterday. But what I look at is just, in terms of the things that he delivered, and I know coming off a bad season, I won't miss the Point Des experience. I won't miss what the Oklahoma City Thunder turned him into in the first round of this year's playoffs. But what I will miss is when Desmond Bane was just on an absolute heater from a catch-and-3 standpoint, and also his growth as a creator and being able to develop, being a true multi-level scorer for this team. Also, what he gave in terms of maturity, leadership. We talked so much about the toughness that this Grizzlies team at times lacked, and I thought Desmond Bane continuously did a really good job of elevating into a space and a role where he accepted being a more leadership-focused voice, of being a tough guy. I think it's a great pickup for the Magic, and obviously the Magic give up all of that because they see Desmond Bane as the key to them competing in a weaker Eastern Conference next season, but you put Desmond Bane next to Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner and Suggs and Wendell Carter Jr., and they don't have to move off any of the younger pieces that they're really excited about, and they think that's the key. They had abysmal three-point shooting this year. What do you get? You get an excellent three-point shooter. Like, you can think whatever you want about Desmond Bane and what this last season was and what his fit was ultimately for the Grizzlies. He is one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA. And in a league that values three-point shooting, and for a team like the Magic that was so bad in that area last season, it's an immediate upgrade for them. Now, on the flip side of that, for the Grizzlies, you get to this point where they obviously reached the conclusion, and I think a couple things can be true. One, we are moving into this world where big threes cannot and likely will not exist in the new CBA with the second apron. You simply cannot afford to pay three players at a superstar level. And if you are looking at the three of the Grizzlies in Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, and Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bane was the number 3. Ironically, he will be wearing number 3 for the Orlando Magic, which is such an odd thing to see when a player that you've known the entirety of their career has a new jersey and a new number. So it all comes to you at once. But I think there was this belief, a growing belief, that a Ja Morant, Desmond Bane backcourt was going to have a difficult time winning a championship. They're too small. You were going to have a hard time paying all three of those players, and ultimately you have to make a decision to move off of a young core. And that's a big choice for this front office. This is a massive move. We were curious what this offseason was going to look like, and this is symbolic of Zach Kleiman's comments at exit interviews saying 48 wins and a sweep in the first round is not enough. And not just not enough, that you're not close. And if you're not close, you have to do something big. And this is the something big from the side of the Grizzlies.
Absolutely it is. You can break this down a whole lot of different ways. Just on the Magic side of things, real quick, I don't think any more needs to be said other than they had a clear need and they filled it. They clearly needed somebody who can get in there and shoot, be a spot-up shooter, can be a catch-and-shoot type guy, long live the fly-by king, FBK. And Desmond Bane fills that need, and that is clear. What's less clear and a bit more murky now is what's going on with the Grizzlies. And,
right.
and time will tell. I will say that for all the good things that Desmond Bane did, and he did a whole lot of good things, a large part of the reason that the Grizzlies were ahead of schedule, when the Grizzlies were ahead of schedule, was because of how well Desmond Bane was shooting the ball and his ability to be a bit of a facilitator when called upon in spurts. Like they needed something else. Paying Bane what they paid him, unfortunately, the way the cap is set up, that meant that they had to sacrifice a couple of other positions of need. Backup point guard is one, another quality wing or quality center. They sacrificed those types of things for Desmond Bane, Ja Morant, and Jaren Jackson Jr., the three of those, to pay them their money. Well, now that you've moved Bane, now you get some of that flexibility back, and you can get 2 for 1. So while, yes, Desmond Bane is by far the best player in this trade, you can fill 2 different needs for the price of one Desmond Bane. So it makes sense to me from a general manager standpoint already. If they do nothing else, just with the picks and the 2 rotation players, this is, for me, this is an A trade. This is great. Ja Morant, you can't keep saying if healthy, if healthy, if healthy. You've got to be prepared for him to not be healthy. You've got to be prepared and have depth necessary for when players, plural, aren't healthy. So if Ja Morant goes down for a week or 2 and has to miss 4 or 5 games, well, now you're starting Scottie Pippen Jr., but there's a Cole Anthony at backup point guard, or you're starting Cole Anthony and there's a Scottie Pippen Jr. At backup point guard in that sort of way. And too often last year was, all right, you got to play Scottie. Scottie's the one who can facilitate this offense. All right, Luke, you run point. Well, that's taking Luke Kennard off of what he does well. Well, Bane, you run it. Well, that takes Desmond Bane off of what he does well. Now you've got depth at the backup point guard position, and that's something that this team needs. And then with KCP, you've got a quality wing defender, and you stop and you think about a defensive lineup that features KCP, Jalen Wells, Jaren Jackson Jr., And they say Brandon Clark is coming back, so throw Brandon Clark in there as well. Think about that defensive versatility that you'd have on the court. And you free up more shooting opportunities for everybody's high on him. You free them up for Gigi, right? If you believe Gigi Jackson is somebody who can go out there and get buckets and is just a bucket getter, well, how is he going to get those shots if you got to split shots with Bane and John and Jaren plus Santi coming off the bench and some of these others? Well, now you freed up shots for some of these other guys to go out there and take and get more comfortable. So all in all, for me, if they do nothing else, but there's potential with all of these draft picks and the 2 rotation players.
I know this front office
so much and make this like an A++.
Loves to draft.
Second rounders.
I am just begging just this once. And I do believe they are trying. I want them to go shopping. I want them to go like 90s Valley Girl. We are going shopping. Like, this is the time. You can't sit anymore. And this is where I think, and I'm really interested in talking to Damichael Cole when he joins us in the next segment, but there does seem to be a pretty big disconnect between the local media response to what this trade means for the Grizzlies versus the national media response, and almost the assumption from some of the bigger names in the NBA space going the route of, well, this is just the beginning of a total rebuild for Memphis. And if Desmond Bane can go, then what's next for Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr.? Whereas the local perspective, and also the perspective of, I thought it was very interesting. I did turn on Get Up on ESPN this morning. And so you have the Brian Windhorst continued comments of, what does it mean? And thinking, could it be a deal for Ja? Could it be a deal for Jaren? You had Richard Jefferson saying that they should trade Ja Morant. I believe Mike Greenberg brought up trading Jaren Jackson Jr., but the person who was also on that this morning was J.B. Bickerstaff. And J.B. Bickerstaff's a coach, and he looked at it from the perspective that I think we are looking at it from, and that is, you build around Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. now. That's what yesterday's move symbolized to me, was a front office deciding to go in on, and you cannot be definitive on that until we see what else happens, but I believe that there is something significant to be built around Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. And obviously a big storyline continues to be the extension for Jaren this offseason, and how yesterday's moves both helped and made it a little more challenging, because you do take on this year's first-round draft pick, so that makes the salary cap not like what you lost in Desmond Bane's contract and the win that you got in KCP and Cole Anthony. Then it's $4 million for the rookie deal of the 2025 number 16 pick. So that gets a little convoluted, but still, like, there is an avenue now where you're building around Jaren. You have this belief in Jalen Wells coming off an all-rookie season and having the opportunity to say, hey, I believe in this guy as a long-term option on the wing. Who are we putting next to him? From a short-term solution, KCP is intriguing, because you can't get away from the fact that he had an abysmal shooting year last year. And I know he was better coming out of January. His numbers went up significantly. But when you look at KCP as 34% from 3 last season, like, you start to think, yes, the Grizzlies got better defensively, but they took a step back yesterday in terms of having consistent 3-point shooting. So how can you get more of that? I struggle on the Cole Anthony piece, because I am with you on that. I've seen a lot of people say Cole Anthony can't be the number 3 point guard on this team. Like, he's better than that. But I think from the Grizzlies' perspective, having depth at that position is so important because of what you laid out. It
doesn't matter where he is on the depth chart. He is there. However y'all can have the conversation about backup point guard Scotty or Cole Anthony before the season gets started, and we see these dudes in camp and see them going through game action. And again, this could be a moot conversation. They once had Patrick Beverley on the roster. You remember that trade?
Yeah.
And then before the season started,
that was one
he
of my
gone.
favorite careers. Patrick Beverley.
So, like,
forever Grizzly.
KCP and Cole Anthony may not be one of, or both may not be on this roster. I'm just saying, if it ends here and nothing else gets done, which I highly doubt, but if it ends here and nothing else gets done, you now have depth at the backup point guard spot. And that's something that this Grizzlies franchise, I don't think they've ever had 2 dudes behind the dude at point guard.
Well, and it's a weird thing, because if you have a constantly available point guard, like if Ja Morant is playing 90% of games, then you don't need that. But like, history would tell you that there is an availability issue, if you want to call it that you could treat by having more depth at that position. Now, granted, you also need some depth in the front court, and with the Zach Edey injury coming out of this offseason, what they are going to do for that to start next season, and you're always on the hunt for big 3-and-D wings. Like, all those things don't go away. But I will say, the Grizzlies coming out of yesterday's trade are like tenfold more in the mix to make a big trade now. And if it's not a big trade, it could be a smaller than big trade. I am not saying that the Grizzlies are going to go out and win the Kevin Durant sweepstakes. I really thought that's what we'd be talking about coming out of the weekend. Not the Grizzlies getting Kevin Durant, but I thought the Kevin Durant news would come through this weekend. You had the break between how we did not have an NBA Finals game on Father's Day is beyond. Like, what a miss of a window. But alas, we get Game 5 tonight, and so I kind of thought that would be the big trade that we were discussing. But the Grizzlies are at least in a better position today than they were going into the weekend to at least flirt with being in contention for Kevin Durant. And I am really intrigued from the KD standpoint of the news coming out of the weekend of his preferred destinations of the Heat, the Spurs, and the Rockets. And you can always have preferred destinations. That does not mean that the Phoenix Suns' best deal available is ultimately going to be the Heat, the Spurs, the Rockets. And I forget who brought it up, but somebody said, sometimes when these preferred destination stories come out, it's because that player and their team are aware that one of the non-preferred destinations is a leader in the clubhouse. And so they just want to make it crystal clear, like, this is where I want to go. And you look at the assets that the Grizzlies have available, and one of those picks, hey, Phoenix could get their 2026 back, Or you look at what's going to happen with the Celtics, and now you have a better package for a Derek White, for a Jaylen Brown. The rumor mill of Denny Avita being somebody that the Grizzlies are potentially interested in. Or you go down a next level and you figure out if there's, either a big that works or another one of those wings. I saw somebody bring up Nickeil Alexander-Walker could potentially work with a sign-and-trade type situation. There's just so many more options today. And that is an exciting place to be in this offseason for the Grizzlies, and in an offseason that has been highlighted by this Oklahoma City Thunder team looking built and ready, more ready than ever, to run the West for a significant period of time. And you have the Spurs with Victor Wembanyama, and you have Cooper Flagg going to the Dallas Mavericks, and you have all the other players who are constantly going to make the West just eternally competitive. And if the Grizzlies want to be a part of that, they have a real opportunity to do something big.
Yeah, but it
takes two to make a trade. Never forget.
It does, yes. You're right. It takes two to make a trade. If I show up to you and I slap 4 first-round draft picks in front of you, you're going to be like, okay, I'm a bit more inclined to listen to what you have to say for Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Drew Holiday, for the dude from the Trailblazers.
Denny Avita.
Him. For, I don't know.
Social media, Luke loves Denny Avita.
Dude from the Hornets who ended up Mark Williams or whomever. And you shouldn't have to drop.
Does his failed physical make you nervous at all?
No.
Me neither.
No.
It feels like it was just a bizarro situation.
I think the Lakers realized they didn't want him, and it was like, okay, he failed the physical because he played a bunch after that.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken. Like, listen, my only point is I'm just naming dudes who you could theoretically go out there and go get, and you can do that now, and not just those types of players. But
Herb Jones.
You could say absolutely. Hey, we can get Herb now. Like, you can name a player. You've got the capital now with those draft picks. Plus another player to be able to go out there and get that guy to make significant upgrades to your roster. Not just those players, not just the Herb Joneses and Derek Whites and et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. But you can get involved in this Kevin Durant thing if you want to. You can put pressure on the Bucks and say, hey, you guys are real quiet. It sounds like Giannis wants to stay. I get it. I understand. But what about a trade package that starts with 4 unprotected first-round picks? What can we do then? Can we talk about some things? And I'm sure that the Bucks will say, yeah, let's sit down and have a conversation about what that might look like. So you've got, with these picks plus the rotation players, you've got assets available now that you didn't have before this weekend to go out there and legitimately make this roster completely different and do a true overhaul and go from a team that's going to be fighting for that final playoff spot at the 6th seed to being a team that's comfortably in the playoffs and home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs at least. So I'm excited. I saw this trade come through and I was like, holy hell, this is good. It could get a whole lot better. I think they're going for broke now. I think sometimes the window is cracked and you shut it. Yeah. And, well, you don't shut it. Life shuts it. And then it's like, okay,
Circumstances show
how's it going to be open? And it sounds like the front office here is like, okay, we're going to crack this mother bleeper open with a crowbar.
This is the window. I feel like right now it's like right here.
It could open
could be like
wide
right
the hell up.
All right, Damichael Cole just walked in the studio. We got to take a quick break.
Is
We're
he
going to
here?
catch up. Yep, Damichael's back in the corner. We'll get Damichael Cole, beat writer for the commercial appeal for the Memphis Grizzlies. He's going to join us to continue the conversation. Desmond Bane is with the Orlando Magic, what that means for the Grizzlies. Damichael Cole on the other side. Is your child a natural-born entertainer? Now is their chance to join the most talented youth dance crew in the Mid-South, the Blue Bunch. The Blue Bunch entertains Grizz Nation with their energetic dance routines and even have the opportunity to collaborate on performances with leading artists in the entertainment industry. Kids ages 7 to 17 are invited to show off their skills and personality for their chance to join the next generation of NBA entertainers. Open auditions are Saturday, June 28th. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions now for more information.
Creed. By overwhelming demand, the Summer of '99 tour returns. July 27th, FedEx Forum. With very special guest, Daughtry. And Mammoth. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Creed with Daughtry and Mammoth. The Summer of '99 tour.
The First Ladies of FedEx Forum, the Grizz Girls, are known across the NBA for setting the standard for professional dance and entertainment, and they are looking for dancers to join their team for the 2025-2026 season. With the chance to gain professional dance experience and connect with the Memphis community, auditioning for the Grizz Girls is an opportunity you do not want to miss. Come show up at Open Call Auditions Saturday, July 26th at the Memphis Sports and Events Center. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions now for more information.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals takes it straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Tony Allen joining us. I believe Hey!
Young TA, what a fresh chop. That boy sliced today, boy. You say, that boy got the tape on the side? Okay, TA.
Hey, and I like how you blurred out your background so we can't see that La Quinta this time.
Can't see the hole in the wall, TA.
Can't see the hole in the wall.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
The Tigers are going to play in November in the Bahamas, the Baha Mar tournament, and the other teams expected to be there. Purdue, Wake Forest, and possibly Texas Tech. So Texas Tech's going to be good. Purdue's going to be good. If you don't have a roster that puts you in that same conversation, it could be a tough trip to the Bahamas.
Yep.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What can the Memphis Grizzlies learn from the Thunder Pacers NBA Finals Series?
Your style of play is not something that you really have to change. Both of these teams love to play fast. Both these teams love to play really aggressively on the defensive side of the ball.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Welcome back. We are so excited to be joined by Damichael Cole, beat writer for the Memphis Grizzlies for the Commercial Appeal and co-host of the Locked On Grizzlies podcast. And he was kind enough to continue his very busy Father's Day by joining us in studio this morning. You told me during the break you never saw your dad yesterday.
No.
You had plans though too, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I literally was getting, because the notification came around 10 something in the morning. Church started at 11, so I was getting ready to go to church with him and do some things after church. All that got washed away. So,
You said, God, I am so sorry, but work calls because the Grizzlies just traded Desmond Bane to the Orlando Magic. What was your instant reaction to the trade when it happened?
Now, that was my right now, NBA Finals. We haven't seen the draft. I really thought that maybe they would try to go one more time with this. I've been talking about it as much as anyone, that the inevitable is coming with this trio, whether it be this offseason or next. I don't see them being together past next offseason. So the timing was a little bit surprising. The move wasn't as surprising. You figured, as much as they've kind of, back Jaws of late and Jaren Jackson Jr., the pieces are kind of aligning with us talking about the renegotiation and things like that. They really want him here. So, kind of left Dez as the odd man out.
Yeah, it's the timing, I think, for me was the surprising bit, too.
Yeah.
And just, I'm a sucker for the relationships that are built here and what you see.
Yeah.
And I will always feel a little salty that we never felt like we truly got the Jaren, Dez, all healthy at the same time consistently. And I think perhaps we have to view it as, I mean, now we do, that was a pipe dream that might never have happened even if they had stayed. But I had looked at it as, okay, let's build out around them a little bit around the edges, get a little bit older. I was begging for someone who was 30 or older.
Yeah.
KCP's 32. So that's a positive in that sense. But going into next season and then perhaps at the trade deadline, if it was clear early, a very short leash on it, if this is not going to work, if they're still either not all available or it doesn't work under the new ESOLO system, then that's where you would make that move. But it appears, and obviously now, they decided to do it right now. And I'm curious from your perspective, because there seems to be a really massive disconnect between the national media, and I don't want to loop all national media together.
Oh, for sure.
But some of the more significant voices, from Brian Windhorst to Bill Simmons saying to him this was a symbol of the Grizzlies waving the white flag, to Kevin O'Connor having a wild tweet that John Morant isn't even a top 40 player in the NBA, which, please, that's clickbait Farmville, if I've ever heard one. But you have that, and this assumption that by the Grizzlies moving Desmond Bane, they look at it as a reset or a rebuild. But then here locally, it felt more of a excitement that this would symbolize, we'll call it a retool, because you can't break up a big three or a three-person core and not call it at least somewhat of a retool.
Right.
But it's this is the time where now you go all in around Jaren. How have you kind of dissected the difference between national versus local?
Yeah, it always catches my attention now. Ever since I've become a beat writer, and I mean, you realize how much I'm talking to people just about the weeds of things going on with the Grizzlies. And then, from a national standpoint, you're mostly focusing on the bigger stuff. They're more on Jaren Jackson Jr.'s contract and things of that nature. Here, we're thinking about if they're going to decline or pick up a team option on Jake LaRavia before last season, because that'll be a telling sign for what eventually happened with him. So it's a little bit, different. But I think, nationally, the perspective made sense overall, just if you weren't just super tuned in, because what the Grizzlies are doing is kind of unique, where you have three guys who are younger than 27 years old, who are your quote-unquote core. And like you said, to me, it's kind of a IC on the report card. It's an incomplete grade. We never got to see, this trio kind of be maximized with that core around them. We saw that 21-22 run, and you had, the Kyle Andersons, DeAnthony Melton, Tyus Jones and those guys. And then, of course, you kind of reconfigured some things every single year after that. The injuries, we just never really got to see this core continue to grow and, maximize that window. So I think when you look at that trade from the outside in and you're saying, they're getting two guys who average under 10 points per game, one guy's, in his 30s. The other guy, there's some overlap with Scottie Pippen Jr. it does kind of feel that way because the big thing that we're talking about in the trade isn't even the players. It's the draft capital that the Grizzlies gain. And usually when you're talking about draft capital that a team is gained, it's usually a lower team. It's like, oh, they're going to be built for the future. And yeah, exactly. But in the Grizzlies case, it's like, no, wait, like, still got Ja, you still got Jaren. So I don't think, the national perspective was just out of like idiocracy or anything like that. But you have to really be tapped in to understand that the Grizzlies are probably one of the first teams doing what we're going to see a lot of teams to do because of, the apron rules and things like that. Like, that was the inevitable. That's why next offseason was the inevitable, because they were going to end up potentially being a luxury tax first apron team, all these things. And now you can kind of move some pieces around, which in this case, Dez, and you can kind of reconfigure some things around Ja and Jaren and still hope that you can be a championship contender.
And ultimately what I think, makes it like juicier too is the Magic identified Desmond Bane as the missing piece for them. And I do think it's an interesting thing coming off of, I would call this season a disappointing year.
Yeah.
It was a disappointing year for everybody. They got swept by the Thunder. But for Desmond Bane in particular, like it was a tough call upon him to do a lot of things that was not the natural piece of his game. Yeah. And because of that, I think sometimes we almost forgot what he does best, but the Magic have identified that, and they're like, he is going to space the floor. He's not
focus on those
he's
things.
A good enough defender where the Magic that have been a top 3 defense for the last couple of years look at him as someone who's not going to take away from that extensively. Whereas with the Grizzlies, because he and Ja represented such a small backcourt, it almost highlighted more of an issue that wasn't necessarily there from a defensive standpoint. What's your favorite Desmond Bane memory before I forget to ask that?
Oh, man, my favorite Dez memory. I got to go in the locker room. I got to go in the locker room. I mean, if we're talking games, I would take that series against the Timberwolves, or to me, he was arguably the best player for the Grizzlies. Yeah. And that one series win that this core has had, Dez was right at the center of it. But to me, a big moment was 2023, a game against Golden State, big national TV game. The rivalry is at its peak right now. You just had a Christmas game. You just had the playoff series from the year before, all the teams talking trash to each other. So we're in San Francisco, and I wrote about this moment too because Zaire Williams, I believe, started that game, but he closed that game for sure. And it was one of Zaire's worst games in his career to that date. Zaire's like all over the place. So like in the locker room, I've never seen Zaire like this. Like he has a towel over his head, and the towel's just like draped over his head. And I'm like, this is where, as a reporter, you're like, I gotta talk to him, but like it's like he clearly, he blew a layup in his game, and then Jordan Poole got a backdoor cut on him, ended up being like the game-winning basket. So I go over to Dez, because Dez is always kind of like an even keel guy. He's one of the guys in the locker room you talk to, and it's like you don't know whether the team won or lost based on, like the demeanor that he showed. And that's not the case with most players in the NBA, period. So I go over there to Dez, and, we're just talking a little bit, and I'm like, man, Zaire is, he's taking this pretty hard. And then he just yells over there. He's like, Z! He's like, pick your head up. He's like, come on, man, we'll be all right. And he was like, we're going out later. Like, we going out later. Like, pick your head up. Like, and Z's like, nah. But like, Dez walks over there and like checks on him. And that was like one of those young leadership moments that he had. Yep.
That is one of the things too, and I appreciate that locker room commentary because that's something that people don't see. But you did see it a little bit, like on a young team that was desperate for an older voice. Desmond Bane kind of took the reins of
old soul,
being that. Yeah, exactly. It fit. It was a more natural fit for him than perhaps for others. Like you can't. That's just not a skill that you can necessarily ask someone to develop. Sometimes it's just in there, and it seemed to be in there for Desmond Bane. I am curious from your perspective now, and there's just so many different directions you can go. Like, do they keep KCP, Cole Anthony? Are they on the roster at the beginning of the year? What do these draft picks mean? Like, ultimately, where do you see the biggest need for this team still? Because, I don't think it's wild to say they got worse yesterday.
Oh, yeah,
right?
without a doubt.
Period.
Without
So
a doubt.
there's more hope for what can be, but they did take a step back in trading Desmond Bane.
Which means they have to kind
Take
of
steps forward.
Exactly, over the course of this offseason. They got all these assets. And I hadn't really, it's been so much to kind of unpeel with the salary cap stuff now and the contracts and everything. The roster makeup now, when you added a first round pick, that's another guaranteed contract that's about to go on. You just traded one player for two. So basically you added two additional, you took up two roster spots. So now you're in a situation where, okay, you got free agency, you got, the trade market, however you want to add players. The bottom line is everyone who's on the roster right now is probably not going to be on the roster when the season starts back. It's a numbers game. Right? So I think when you talk about the biggest addition left, to me, it's addressing that wing spot alongside of Ja, and we can say Jalen Wells now. That's another kind of point that's low down on the totem pole. Is, to me, I always said Jalen Wells was a natural two guard. He's playing the three because, you're playing alongside Ja and Dez. He wasn't taking Dez's spot, so to speak. So you slide him over to the more natural spot at the two. He's 6'6", 6'7". He's going to fit like a glove there. And you get a more natural three, someone who could also defend. You talked about how with Dez and Ja not being kind of great defenders, so to speak, it puts so much pressure on that other perimeter guy. It had to be someone who could defend at a high level. And they had no choice. It had to be. It couldn't be someone who was okay or because it would tank the defense. So now, you got a little more wiggle room. You can go get someone who's, you want it to be a really good defender, but you have wiggle room there because you get a bigger guy, whatever the case may be. I think addressing that wing spot, because you got Zach Edey, you got Jaren Jackson Jr., you got Jalen Wells, you got John Moran. I think they're all locked in as starters. I think KCP there's some versatility there. You could bring him off the bench. You could potentially start him if you don't find anyone else, but we know if he started him, I think that's a worse off Grizzlies team than last season. So I'm looking at what they're going to do with all these draft capital that they have. The Grizzlies aren't some young team that's playing for 2030. So they have an opportunity to kind of cash some of those chips in.
We all know that the biggest story in the NBA should be the NBA Finals. And it is, because the series has been tremendous. But you will hear Kevin Durant's name probably more. I would love an official counter of how many times Kevin Durant's name is said versus how many times Pacers Thunder is previewed, at least, when we're getting into a pregame situation. Kevin Durant has his preferred destinations: Heat, Spurs, Rockets.
Right.
If you had to put a percentage on the chance that the Grizzlies could still be in these sweepstakes coming out of this trade, what percentage chance is there for the Grizzlies to be players in the Kevin Durant?
Considering that all those teams are around 30% or so, I'll put the Grizzlies at 10% of that.
So you're saying there's a chance?
There is a chance, 3%. Now, the thing, here's what we know. We know the Grizzlies have went after Kevin Durant before. It's not a secret at this point. So they've had interest there. We know that they have a need at the three, which has been Kevin Durant's most natural position for the majority of his career. He's played the four a lot more lately, but you watch him, still moves very good for someone his age. He can play the three. The scoring, the Grizzlies need that. Shooting, they need that. Good enough on the defensive end. I think he fits that mold as well. With the Suns, when I talk to people, about their situation, you get the sense that, they have this respect and admiration for Kevin Durant where they would probably try to route him where he wants to go. But look, if this team is offering us a deal that's significantly better, we're no dummies. We're not going to say, oh, we love Kevin Durant so much, we'll take 2 first-round picks instead of 5.
We don't do that anymore.
Yeah, not happening. So I think when you talk about draft capital, the Grizzlies are up there with, teams like the Thunder and the Rockets in terms of future draft capital going forward. They can put their names, at the table, and with the draft capital that they have, with the contracts that, get off the books relatively quickly here in the next couple of years, the Grizzlies could put themselves in position to really be a player in that conversation.
And if they're not the ultimate winner of the Kevin Durant piece, they could be an additional team utilized in a trade. We see this happen all the time where there's a third team that helps make it happen.
The contracts work, maybe add on some picks or whatever the case may be. Like, that very well could be the case. And you know, I think KD isn't the end-all be-all as well. You know, that's the big name. I mean, there are probably going to be a couple surprise, guys traded at some point this offseason, so we'll continue to monitor that.
Saying it's going to be the most dramatic offseason yet.
That's what everyone's saying. And, like, it's like, here we go. Like, that's what yesterday was. Here we go.
Before I let you go, you mentioned when you were naming the Grizzlies starters, one of them being Zach Edey. But obviously the Grizzlies won't have Zach Edey to start the season. From your perspective, does that change how they address this offseason? And obviously now they've made a big trade, and you bring up, and I'm with you, I think their biggest need continues to be a surefire 3-and-D wing, which evergreen tweet for them and many other teams. But there is this front court question of not having Zach Edey potentially at the beginning of the season, coming off of ankle surgery. You have Brandon Clark coming off of knee surgery, who should be available. You have Jaren Jackson Jr., who we have now seen is more comfortable at the 4 than the 5. What do you make of what the Grizzlies should do as it pertains to their bigs?
When I look at the situation with Zach Edey, I think you peel it back like this. What are we going to be missing most without him? And to me, it's the rebounding and the screen setting, especially in Isolo's system. Rebounding and screen setting, more so the screen setting, will be of the utmost importance. And we saw, just look at the numbers when Zach Edey was in the game, the rebounding numbers, as opposed to when he's out of the game. The Grizzlies are a bottom third rebounding team in the league, where they're a top 10 rebounding team when he's in the game. It's a drastic difference. So, yes, you got to address it, unless you're just going to go in the season and say, fine, we'll be a terrible rebounding team for 20 games and deal with it. So I think it's a situation where you don't have to go out and try to get someone amazing. Quite frankly, I don't know if they'll be able to pull that off, because it's very likely that a team of, whether it's an agent or whatever the case may be, they'll look at the Grizzlies roster and they'll say, you got Jaren Jackson Jr., you're probably going to have Brandon Clark, and you're probably going to have Santi Aldama. So I know when Zach Edey gets back, my minutes are probably gone. So you're talking about a situation where someone's going to get maybe 15, 20 games. We'll see how it plays out, of an opportunity to really kind of stabilize some things. So I don't think we're talking about, some like all-star caliber player or anything like that, but kind of someone who's just going to fill in for a while and kind of hold down the fort.
Well, bringing up the rebounds, give me a wing who rebounds.
Wing
who gets boards would be preferable.
That would be preferable, and that's why I think it's got to be a bigger wing. It's got to be someone 6'8", 6'9".
I love the slotting Jalen back into the 2. And then you, again, getting as much length as possible around John Morant. That is the key to unlocking all of this, and for him staying on the court, of course. Damichael, thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy schedule. You can read the latest from Damichael Cole up at the Commercial Appeal. You can listen to the Locked On Grizzlies podcast with him and Joe Mullinax. It is a great listen. I listen many, many mornings. We will take a quick break. We'll come back, give some final thoughts on the Desmond Bane trade. We will get into NBA Finals. We get a Game 5 tonight. The Thunder went out and evened up their series with the Pacers on Friday night. We'll talk that. WNBA action from the weekend. Caitlin Clark was incredible. U.S. Open. All that and more when we come back.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
You've seen the Grizz line jamming on the court and rocking out on Beale Street, and this is your chance to join the best drum line in the NBA. Grizz line entertains Grizz Nation at home games and events in the Mid-South through their impressive techniques and energetic shows. If you have experience in drumming and marching and love entertaining, Grizz line is the perfect opportunity for you to combine percussion and performance. Open auditions are Saturday, August 9th at FedEx Forum. Sign up today by visiting grizzlies.com/auditions.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Tony Allen joining us. I believe Hey!
Young TA with a fresh chop. That boy sliced today, boy. You say that boy got the tape on the side. Okay, TA.
Hey, and I like how you blurred out your background so we can't see that La Quinta this time.
Can't see the hole in the wall, TA.
Can't see the hole in the wall.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
The Tigers are going to play in November in the Bahamas, the Baha Mar tournament, and the other teams expected to be there. Purdue, Wake Forest, and possibly Texas Tech. So Texas Tech's going to be good. Purdue's going to be good. If you don't have a roster that puts you in that same conversation, it could be a tough trip to the Bahamas.
Yep.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What can the Memphis Grizzlies learn from the Thunder Pacers NBA Finals Series?
Your style of play is not something that you really have to change. Both of these teams love to play fast. Both of these teams love to play really aggressively on the defensive side of the ball.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
All right, welcome back. Big thanks to Damichael Cole for stopping in studio to talk with us today. Our chat question of the day, if you're joining us live, what is your favorite moment from Desmond Bane's time as a Grizzlies player? 51% of the vote. Too many to name. We love you, Bane. What a cop-out, CJ. I'm mad that you put that as the fourth option. We went through all of the inclusions. 28% has the 40-point 7 threes game against the Timberwolves. That would be my favorite in the Grizzlies' comeback win against the Timberwolves, in which Desmond Bane made 7 threes. This is what I think was almost lost the most based on what Desmond Bane was asked to do this season for the Grizzlies. There are very few players in the NBA who fire away from a three and your immediate response is, that's going in. And prior to, this season got wonky, but prior to that, Desmond Bane was one of those kind of players. I think Shams Charania had the stat that since 2020, there are 3 players in the NBA who have made over 800 threes on 40% shooting from three, and Desmond Bane is one of them. And when they are catch and shoot threes, that number goes up to 43%. So he is a knockdown shooter. Like, we don't just make like Steph Curry's in the lab, but he is close to a Klay Thompson-esque type 3-point shooter where you just have that much confidence in his ability to make big shots in big moments. And I know this year took a lot of that away, but I think we almost have to like recalibrate and remember what Desmond Bane was through some of those incredible moments. The 49-point game against the Pistons. There have been massive games from Desmond Bane.
And it hasn't been enough. And this is a part of the part of the tough conversation is, yes, everything that you're saying is true. There's only one player better catch and shoot from three in the NBA right now. And then Desmond Bane, and to me, is Steph, right? It's that, and then I think it's Desmond Bane. and you're looking around and you're this Grizzlies front office is a part of looking in the mirror and having tough conversations. Hey, what do we need and how do we get it? All right. And we need this, that, and the third. How do we go about getting it? We got to move. Sadly, unfortunately, we've got to move off of at least one of this core group. And that's the way we have to go about doing it. Bane is both. In one breath, Bane is very, very good at basketball. He is a top 60, top 50 caliber player in the NBA. And it's also not enough for here. It'll be enough in Orlando. I love this for Orlando. It's very clear what's going on there. And he'll step in. He'll be a knockdown shooter. He'll be the flyby king of Orlando. And that's all they'll ask him to do, health withstanding, right? Here, even with health, it is, hey, we need you to take a little bit of time and run the point. Hey, in spurts and in moments, you'll have to go out there and guard the best player on the perimeter. Hey, would you mind putting the ball on the floor and using pick and rolls and facilitating and setting dudes up off the bounce? It's a whole lot of extra stuff he was asked to do here, which he did a job of. It wasn't the best of all jobs because that's not what he is as a player. He was forced to do way too many things outside of his comfort zone. Now he's going there. He'll be nothing but in the comfort zone. It'll be great for him. He is both good and not enough. And the Grizzlies have.
And he only has to play the Thunder twice now.
Only has to play him twice. The Grizzlies have a couple of things to figure out, like, okay, is this it? What else do we need? How else do we go about getting better? And now they have assets to go out there and go get better if that's what they so choose to do. These are the type of tough conversations I think that Zach Kleiman was talking about or referring to in the exit interviews. They love Des. They should love Des. They can point to Desmond Bane forever and say, hey, yo, we not only did we identify this player as talented, we pulled the trigger on him, we drafted him, and we developed him. It all worked. That's what you're supposed to do as a front office. It's just, hey, time comes to pay these players. And this is an indictment on the NBA now. Yes. I do not like this part of it where it is, hey, we identified him as talented. We drafted him. We developed him. We paid him. We can't keep him.
I hate that.
We can't
29 other teams passed on Desmond Bane, and the Grizzlies took him. And they can't keep him. And I get it, that it's also a part of a tough conversation and can't keep him because it has not worked in the dream of a big three in Memphis of Ja, Jaren, and Dez and the young core and having to break that up and make decisions. You look at the 2021-2022 Memphis Grizzlies roster, there are 4 left. 4 remain from that 2022 playoffs run. Can you name the 4?
Ja, Jaren, Santi, Conchar?
5 remain. I'm
Oh,
sorry,
okay.
I missed Conchar in the corner. Brandon Clark. Shout out John Conchar. John Conchar
He's
remains.
going to be here forever. He's going to retire.
Every team needs a John Conchar. I can't wait for John Conchar's 46 to go in the rafters. Purdue Fort Wayne has John Conchar Day. For the Memphis Grizzlies, it's John Conchar year every year. But no, Conchar, Brandon, Jaren, Santi, Ja. And you look at, you know, the faces that no longer remain, Desmond Bane being the most recent. Steven Adams, he got his new deal with the Houston Rockets over the weekend, which I love for both the Rockets and for Steve-O.
Run through that roster for me and listen to the names and listen to how deep this team was.
Kyle Anderson.
That's an NBA starter.
Steven Adams.
That at the time was an NBA starter.
Zaire Williams.
Young role player.
Killian Tilly. Never forget.
Did he play?
No, barely.
Okay.
Xavier Tillman.
Role player.
NBA champion.
NBA champion role player.
Dylan Brooks.
NBA caliber starter.
DeAnthony Melton.
At the time. A really good role player.
I'll never forget that
At the
bench
time-
unit. The Bounce Brothers.
At the time, you could pull DeAnthony Melton off of this roster and say, okay, he probably starts for like 18 to 19
Right.
teams in the league.
Tyus Jones.
We know about Tyus. Come on now.
And then you get into Sam Merrill, who has refound
But that's
a role in the league.
You named 4 or 5 dudes who
Yes.
at the time were starter caliber players in the NBA, and some of them still are right now. Right. And that's what it takes when the Grizz when you look at the Thunder and when you look at the Pacers, when you look at the Cavs who didn't make it, when you look at some of these teams and the way they're built, the really good ones, they've got NBA caliber starters coming off of the bench. They've got starter players coming off of the bench, and there's depth there. And unfortunately, the way that it's all, well, I don't want to say unfortunately, because I think everybody kind of grew tired of, hey, let me just go buy the 3 best players available this free agency and then we'll win the championship. I think people got tired of that. But the way the cap stands right now, the way that it's set up right now, when you're paying these super maxes and you're paying this max money, that severely hampers and limits your ability to go out there and get depth behind it. And so if you're the Grizzlies and you're like, yo, we want to be that. We played that style of basketball, the same style that Indiana plays. We have to go against the Oklahoma City Thunder. We've got to have depth. We can't just have 3 really good players. You got to come off of one of them so you free up the cap so you can go out there and get more quality NBA players behind the 2 that are going to be your main focus.
Unfortunately for the Western Conference, everything is done through the prism of how do you compete with the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Kind of push back just a tad. Just a tad. Just a smidge. Just a smidge. Because, okay, yes, you got to figure out what to do against Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yes.
But the Lakers are the Lakers are a lob threat away from being like, holy hell, what are we supposed to do with them? God bless.
Victor Wembanyama's a monk.
He's a monk now. So now you're like, what the
body, and
hell
spirit
am I
for
supposed
Victor
to do with
Wembanyama.
Wemby? Dallas, I know they got the number 1 overall draft pick right now. The assumption is they get Cooper Flagg, and if he's as good as they say he is, and Kyrie comes back healthy
and
in a year,
is healthy,
and AD is there, and you got Gafford still, and you got the PJ Washington. Who's the other big?
Derek Lively.
It's like
they're the monsters.
Holy hell! Oh, by the way, Anthony Edwards is up in Minnesota doing things.
By the way, Nikola Jokic is still the best player in the world.
Didn't even get to Nikola.
My man Nikola Jokic. Did you see that video of him over the weekend?
No, is he okay?
He's enjoying his offseason.
Of course he is.
Looks.
Nobody loves working less than Nikola Jokic except for me.
I am
me
inspired.
And then Nikola.
Nikola Jokic is the ultimate goal for every human being. Be the best in the world at your craft. And you only dedicate the time to it when you're on the clock. Only on the clock. Everything. And I know he's doing some things. I don't want to say he's just totally letting loose, but like that man's body is not NBA ready at the moment. And I'm proud of it. I love it. I think I want to see every best in the world of whatever. Like Wemby goes the monk route. Jokic goes the drink in the hand, feet in the sand route. And I appreciate both of those mentality. Very different approaches to the offseason. But yes, you're right.
You're going to have depth to be versatile enough to handle all of that.
But I think it's the depth portion of the Thunder that makes them so. I mean, you just look at the series that Alex Caruso, the playoffs that Alex Caruso has. For him, again, to have a 20-point game off the bench for the Thunder, he by no means is the reason why they come out with a Game 4 win. Why are you giving a
Because
head tilt?
you said that, and it triggered something in my brain I wanted to say after the last game. Wait, because we hadn't
talked about the last game.
We've been talking about it.
Last thing on the Desmond Bane
Yes.
that I realized we haven't mentioned, or I got 2 things. One, Mickey Mouse prophesized this, which I find hysterical because I will never forget that game against the Magic where there was a miscue on the timeout performance and the Grizzlies were a little confused at what was happening, and we got this epic shot of Desmond Bane staring down Mickey Mouse. Like, you can't. This is why the NBA is great. There's many reasons why the NBA is great, but moments like this. Where's the NFL's version of this? It doesn't exist. You don't have one player staring down the face of the next home team that he is going to play for. Mickey Mouse is Orlando.
And that's not just any Mickey Mouse. I do believe that's the black Mickey Mouse. That Mickey Mouse only comes out for like HBCU stuff.
You're right.
Like that's the Mickey Mouse. That's the Mickey Mouse who does the drum major stuff. He stared down the black one. That takes some cojones. Take some
You know Desmond Bane has it. He called LeBron James old. That old man over there.
And then LeBron went off.
Then LeBron destroyed the Grizzlies. One would suggest not. What did they say? Poke the bear. I think that lessons were learned in that scenario. 2, just random aside. Do you remember who was with Mikal Bridges when Mikal Bridges found out that he was at Desmond Bane's lake house?
And that's when we were like, oh, holy hell, why?
If Mikal Bridges is for that, we're never going to get anyone.
And that was 1. But 2, it was, yo, Bane and Mikal Bridges are kicking it. Why couldn't we get in there? Why couldn't the Grizzlies get in there?
Oh, they're friends.
Yeah.
Come on. Doesn't he want to play with friends here in Memphis?
This reason right here, people ask me, hey, what's your favorite professional team? I always tell them I don't have one. because this reason, like right here.
Right.
I understand why fans gravitate towards Desmond Bane. I understand. I've seen him out in the community. One of the best things
He's
when
so nice.
One of the best things when players end up getting traded, a player like Desmond Bane ends up getting traded from here or from anywhere, is everybody rushing to social media to say, hey, yo, this was my interaction with him. And so seeing the interactions that he's had with people just unprompted, just, hey, gonna love Desmond Bane forever. He did this, and this. He was so gracious with me when I came across him, and he was just a cool dude. That type of stuff makes you want to root for Desmond Bane, and that's why it's hard for me to be a professional sports team fan, because you take that player away. I understand the business side of it. I understand contracts and salary caps. I understand
Rationally,
fits and
makes sense.
But from the heart, emotionally, no, that's just something I can't. And it's every single year with these professional teams, somebody like that is getting moved around.
I think of that picture Devin has, where it's the lineup of Dez, John, Jaren. And I remember when he took it, I was like, oh, that's going to hit so hard when they win a championship someday. And now you're like, oh, shoot. That is not going to happen. Anyway, big move for the Grizzlies, big move for the Magic. We will see how this continues onward. We will see if there is more trade news that develops today. And ultimately, the offseason doesn't begin until the NBA Finals end. And we get Game 5. Yes.
Should I have been playing? Is this official? Like, should I have been playing the
No, it's official.
music?
Got the email.
Okay.
It went through. This is the Orlando Magic tweeted out Desmond Bane's new jersey.
Okay.
And the picture of him and Mickey Mouse.
Okay.
There you go. And the Grizzlies said goodbye. I saw some people say the Grizzlies didn't say. Yes, they did. There's literally a post that says "Thank you, Desmond Bane." People are so weird.
Oh, that Bane tribute video is going to be hard to sit through.
Look at that.
Oh, look at that smile. And shout out to Grizzlies, man. Whoever's running that Twitter account, great job getting the arms in there. I know that's what people are going to miss.
Even Chris just texted me. Desmond Bane visited us in Seacrest Studios, and he was very kind and great with the kids.
Come on, man. Like, there are stories like that. If you don't have a Desmond Bane story, I promise
you're 6 degrees of separation away from someone in the city who has
three.
Yeah,
Memphis isn't that big. Maybe
Are you giving the
three.
Bass Pro Pyramid for Kevin Durant? If we're throwing fake things into the mix?
Listen.
I said I'd give the Bass Pro Pyramid for Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I'd give the Bass Pro Pyramid the rights to John Roser, and I'd give Honey Gold Wings for Kevin Durant.
Ooh, that's a...
I'd give it up. I would.
Interesting.
I love Roser, too. It's going to be hard to see him go. The tribute video.
Only know you love her when you let her go. Wasn't that a song?
Yeah.
Only know you love her when you let her go.
Yeah, what a sad-ass song.
Yeah, it's a sad-ass song. All right, we got to get to the NBA Finals because we have...
Not Conchar. Caruso. I'm getting the White Hoopers mixed up.
Thunder.
Caruso's has how many 20-point games in the series? 2 20-point games in this series? And I think he had one all of
season.
the regular season.
Yes.
That was the thing I wanted to say.
Thunder beat the Pacers Friday night. They even up the series 2-2, which honestly makes me so happy because this series has been awesome, and now we are guaranteed at least 6, and God, please let it go 7 because it has been tremendous basketball, and everyone had their think pieces on the destruction of the Thunder. Locked, loaded, ready to go. Pacers had them figured out. Thunder's offense stuck in the mud. They can't make a 3. The ball's moving nowhere. They're down 10. Feels like the Pacers are about to steal home court advantage and have the opportunity to close this thing out. And then a couple things happened, and the biggest of those was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had his signature moment. He scored 15 points in the last 5 minutes of that game. 15 of his 35 coming in the fourth quarter. The Thunder needed a hero. They had one in the MVP. His name is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He was aggressive. He was clutch. The go-ahead shot that put the Thunder up 104-102 was so perfectly SGA. And what I mean by that is he is a master of the mid-range, and he is great at being off balance. And all that gets shown in this play over Nesmith, but he also works that chicken wing like nobody else in the league. And so, of course, you immediately get the slow-mo replay, and everybody and their mother has an opinion on the push-off from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I'll call it a flop by Aaron Nesmith right there as he goes down hard. How heavy is Nesmith? He didn't need to fall like that. And if you look, Nesmith also grabbed his jersey. I had no issue with that not being called. Some people wanted it to be a push-off. Other people wanted it to be a travel.
The travel thing is kind of interesting.
I know. It's
throw
the gather
it again. Like, I don't.
We always go like full
something
Sierra
I
on the
don't.
1-2 step.
Yeah, this is something I don't understand in the NBA is, all right,
Okay.
here to me, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, that's 4 to me. I don't understand.
We don't count
how
that first one. We
you don't
got
count
the gather
you don't-
and then the 1-2 shot.
Yeah, that's
I know.
That's confusing.
That
as hell
part's
to
silly.
Me,
but this part, the push-off, Michael Jordan not a push-off.
Hey, listen.
This is not new.
You
Sometimes it feels like people just fell out of a coconut tree and just started watching basketball for the first time. And I don't mean that in an insulting way, but I do think we get like lulled into this belief that this is suddenly different than everything we've seen before. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is taking advantage of the situation. And he had, 0 free throws going into the fourth quarter, and he ultimately ends up 10 of 10 at the line. He made it work for him.
I don't, listen.
And it did not make me aggressively. I did think the officiating got a little wonky in the fourth quarter. That play did not make me mad. I thought what had been a pretty fair and balanced series at least gave way for the Scott Foster special is in for the end of this game. That Dort play, I mean, that was like a football play, and it got no call.
What happened? That was on Friday. You got to refresh my memory.
Let me see if I can
Dort
find
play.
the video. Just
I will say that they were chippy early, and that forced the refs to be like, okay, we're gonna have to start calling these fouls. And I thought they did a good job of calling it on everybody. Now I wish they would have let them play a bit more in that game, but you got to keep control of the game. If you don't like the way the Thunder are defending you, you've got to make it to where the refs feel like they have to keep control of the game by blowing the whistle. Otherwise, the game gets outside of their control, and you do that by, you start fouling.
Right.
You foul them hard. You got to have the right players hitting the ground hard, and then the refs will start stepping in and say, okay, to keep control of this game, we're going to start calling some of these fouls. And if you don't do that, if you don't match, that's what I mean by match physicality. Make the refs make a call. And if they're going to let y'all go out there and fight, like, how bad do you want it? Do you want to ball your fists up and hit another person for a win? Because the refs are going to allow it, go out there and do it. And I will say on the SGA side of things, every single one of those was a foul. Every single one. Neesmith got to do a better job of not having his hand in the cookie jar, because his hand is clearly the one that I always go to in this game is his hand is clearly on SGA's shoulder. Like, what is SGA supposed to do in that situation? Not go up? Like, come on, man.
Remove it?
Like, get your hand out of there. That is very, very clearly a foul. And I grow tired talking about fouls and calls.
Me too.
I just would much rather enjoy, and I enjoy watching these teams go back and forth. And it's been a really fun, really illuminating series of basketball, and that's all I've ever asked
The
for.
Thunder won that game in spite of SGA had 0 assists. It was obviously a strategy to have Jalen Williams run point for that game and to preserve energy for SGA. We had seen it in game 3. Like, he looked gassed by the end of that game. And I don't think if they had gone a different route, perhaps he does not have that burst that he had at the end of the game because he has more tired legs. So it really saved him for that opportunity. And someone had a crazy stat where when SGA has less than 2 assists, like 2 or less assists this season, the Thunder are undefeated. And it's a small sample size. It's like 6 to 8 range. But it is something that they have found success in, and they go to that in that game. He still got 35 points. They're 14th time this postseason that SGA has scored 30-plus. And the only other players who have scored 30-plus 14 times in a postseason, LeBron, Kawhi, Kobe 2 times, Jordan 2 times, AI, and Hakeem. And now SGA. So he's been tremendous. But the Thunder in their totality winning, despite having 10 assists as a team and shooting 3 of 17 from 3. We talk about how the Pacers stole game 1. Mathematically should not have won that game. The Thunder mathematically should not have won this game. And they do because of the play of SGA down the stretch. Chet Holmgren was awesome in the fourth quarter, but they also were gifted a Pacers team that fell apart. And poor Benedict Mathurin. What a horrifying, 45 seconds for Benedict Mathurin between him missing 3 of 4 free throws. I was like, I don't want to watch him shoot another free throw. This is hurting my heart. And then 2 off-ball fouls that sent SGA to the line. And it was like a 5-point swing.
He ran over SGA.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Drilled SGA.
He ran over SGA. That's clearly a foul.
Tackled
That's
SGA.
not listen, we might disagree on this whole foul thing, But
think
we've
that one's
got
pretty clear.
we've got to admit that is a foul.
Okay, but that's where does Jacob have the Lou Dort one that I was talking about? I sent it.
I don't know yet. If
Okay,
he
it's
has it, he'll
fine.
throw it up. Jacob,
That
whenever
was
you got it, here we go.
Like, come on.
That's not a.
Pew!
Yeah, that's bad angle. That's not a foul.
It's a bad angle.
That's not a foul.
You're saying it's a bad angle?
That's not a foul.
You're wild.
It's not a foul.
Anyway,
Come on, man. Get closer to the dude's body, and you don't have to worry about him shooting through like that.
the Benedict Mathurin thing was a 5-point swing in 44 seconds, and the Pacers lost by 7. Like that was and it stinks for Benedict Mathurin because he was coming off of such an incredible game, like one of those you got the Benedict Mathurin game. That's the kind of thing that takes for a team to win a series, and first time we've had a player off the bench with numbers like that since 2011. But then it all went away. All that goodwill, gone.
He can go get it back.
But he's in there because Neesmith's bowed out too.
He can go get it back tonight, and he can get it back.
I don't know if he's gonna get that opportunity, but
he's got at least 2 more opportunities to go get that back. The story's not done. The rest is still unwritten. I remember that song. You can do that. So yeah, this is playoff basketball.
He can still feel the rain on his skin.
This is finals basketball right here. The highs and the lows. We won't talk about Game 4, the mistakes that you made in 45 seconds in Game 4. If you go out in Game 5, Game 6, and maybe a Game 7, hopefully a Game 7, that would be incredible.
I really want a Game 7.
And ball out. I guess that's just the way this sort of stuff goes. And Caruso's been great for the Thunder. Dort as well has hit big threes, timely threes. How many threes did he hit?
Just one. I was like, what are you talking
It
feels timely.
Because that's somebody when the shot goes up, the high arching nature of the shot is like, oh, that's pretty. That's probably going to go in there.
I mean, he only took one.
It's going to go in, and that forces you as a defense to shade more to him. You're not helping off of Lou Dort, right? So I think he made 5 in Game 1. I think he made 5 in like the first quarter. He had a big quarter in one of those games. And he's been pretty consistent from 3 throughout the course of the series. And that means that the defense has shifted over to him. They're not helping on those SGA, and they're not helping on those Jalen Williams drives off of Lou Dort. And that's why I've been really, really impressed with what Jay Will has been able to do getting to the rim.
He was so
But
good.
if nobody's
he
going
took
to...
a couple, that fall that he took on his back. That's my other question.
He's
and I
not
know
good.
these players are all
He's not
robots.
healthy.
No, he's not healthy. And neither's Chet.
No.
Chet's ankle. That's why Chet's performance in the fourth quarter, I was like, damn, he's doing this on an ankle that I'm not sure those legs are ready to support in this moment.
I'm not sure if they had enough time to give him the
Advil.
Is that what the Advil?
Yeah, remember Ja had the magic Advil.
The Advil.
And we know they have it in OKC.
They
That's where
absolutely
it
have
happened.
it.
Just a little Advil.
Just Advil.
Wait, that wasn't, no.
Was it Tylenol? Or was it Advil?
Was that the play-in game or was that, what game was that?
No, it wasn't playing.
Was that against the Thunder, right?
I don't think it was against the Thunder. No, it wasn't against
Now I
the
have to
Thunder.
go back and remember
No.
where the Advil game happened.
Why do I feel like it was New Orleans? I don't know. It felt like it was a late regular season game.
Somebody remind us.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
anyway, you get the Advil and you're ready to go for
Hey,
this,
it's the
this
finals.
It's
Give
game
everybody
5.
Advil.
It's another pivotal game 5.
Hey.
The Thunder regain home court advantage. I mean, this is how this works in the finals. Now, if you're the Oklahoma City Thunder, like it is in your hands again. You were able to steal a game that you should have lost in game 4. And from a confidence surge standpoint, that's a pretty comfortable place to be. I am very excited for this game tonight. I think the Pacers, you could use the C word. They choked down the stretch. I think they were 2 of 7 from the field in the last 4 minutes against the Thunder, and a part of that is by design of the Thunder defense, but another part of that is that the Pacers just abandoned their offense. Miles Turner did not want to take a shot down the stretch, and I'll be really curious how they respond. Tyrese Halliburton had the opportunity for the big 3. Nothing but air.
Yeah.
But we have seen him make those shots time and time again as well. This series has absolutely delivered. And I really hope, I sincerely hope, that if there is Kevin Durant news, can they just wait? Just wait till like midday tomorrow. Give the finals a chance to shine. Like the NBA has to fight the transaction, I was going to use a bad word, but the obsession of transactions in this league, because it is one of the most exciting things. But the fact that that is fighting the attention of the NBA finals I do think is a problem for the NBA because you want the focus to be on this incredible basketball series that we've watched.
I think you just want the focus on your product, and it is. And so this news with the Bane trade and a potential news of a Kevin Durant trade happening this week or next week during the finals, or Giannis during the finals, or somebody else during the finals.
Giannis is sitting somewhere and he's like, can the people in Memphis stop mentioning my name?
Nope.
Greek Fest was great.
Greek Fest and
Giannis had a post this week and he's going to have a 5th kid.
That man be in there, boy. I ain't mad at it. Got Bass Pro Pyramid, a great zoo. Like, come on, man. Shelby Farms is out there.
It was the plan. It was the Grizzlies-Mavs game.
That's what it was. Okay.
That's
when he got the Advil? Are you sure? No.
That's wrong.
No, because there was one game. It was a game when all the training staff met him in the tunnel and clapped for him. I don't remember which game that was. But yeah. What topic are we on now? We on Giannis, the finals, Ja Morant, and the Advil.
It was the other play-in game. It was the Warriors game. That's what I thought. It was the game before. It was the Warriors game on the road.
Okay.
No.
Listen. You can tell me anything right now. I'll be like, okay. I feel like it was a blue team, like a shade of blue team, where he takes the fall like he just got back.
Fine, whatever.
We'll figure it out. Somebody let us know. But yeah. So if the trades are happening, people are talking about the league, and then it is a much easier segue into the finals conversation. It's an immediate hook for the ESPNs out there who need
maybe
stuff
it'll
to talk
keep
about.
Stephen A. Smith on point, on task. I know I had this later in Hot Mess Express, but just because we're talking about it, he was caught playing solitaire during the game, and then he had the audacity to try to say that it was during a timeout, and someone posted. No, someone posted a video and was like, no, it's not. There is active gameplay occurring in front of us right now, and you are playing solitaire on your phone. That's a terrible look. That's a horrible look. I wonder if he won.
Like, he absolutely won.
Also, him being a solitaire guy
makes sense.
Makes so much sense.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Makes so much sense. I used to have one of those solitaire, like before you had games on your phone. Do you remember the solitaire, like single game devices? You could only play solitaire on it.
Know that.
Oh, my Nana was a solitaire queen, and she had one, and she would just sit in her recliner, and then I would play her solitaire game. But anyway, Stephen A. playing solitaire on his phone. They had to community note him on X.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, just throw that tweet back up. Throw the tweet back up of what he said when he got called out for it.
He said it was a timeout.
Because, he goes, yep, that's me. Who would have thought? I can multitask, especially during timeouts. Hope y'all are enjoying the NBA Finals. This is going 7 games now.
Like, maybe it was like towards the end of a timeout.
I took a picture of the community note. Stephen A. is lying. This photo was taken during gameplay, not a timeout.
Okay, so how far from the timeout is it? Because sometimes I do that. I fall prey to that.
You're not working for a network that is under incredible scrutiny right now for its presentation of the NBA Finals.
I mean,
I know he makes a quadrillion dollars. He doesn't care.
Not going to matter. But yeah, go to timeout. I'm in the middle of a game, and it's, okay, action is back, but I'm almost done with this game here. If you throw the picture back up, it looks like he's already completed a row. It looks like he's like 4 or 5 moves away from winning that particular game, and then I'm assuming he puts the phone down and gets right back to business.
We're so cooked as society. We can't even, while working, just take a 5-minute respite to rest your brain. You got to go straight to the device. I do it too. I'm not trying to say I'm good at this.
Is that not restful?
No.
I go, listen.
You should be thinking. You should be thinking about what you just saw.
I go straight to Clash of Clans or what's the Royal game? Hold on. I got like 5 games I go to. If I have a lull in action, if I'm right, not Clash Royale. But Clash Royale is one as well.
I used to play Flappy Bird, but that died years ago.
Royal Match is the one I'm on.
Oh, congrats.
Royal Match. Got some other ones on here. Cuphead. Got Color Crash. Or Color Clash. Like, yeah, I'm on here on these games is what I'm trying to say. If I get any sort of lull in action. And I'm not trying to be at work constantly. Stephen A. Smith. Also, Stephen A. Smith been working all damn day. Like, you've seen Stephen A. Smith all over the TV. He's been he can't get a minute to play a little solitaire.
Not during the game.
When is he supposed to?
Go to the bathroom. Go sit on the toilet if you want to play solitaire.
in that suit in a public
I'm
bathroom?
sure he's not in a public bathroom. I'm sure he has a special private bathroom.
You think where
I
do they
guarantee
play?
they
When do
use-
the Pacers play?
There ain't no way
You think
that they
Stephen
are
A-
using general
you think
admissions
Stephen
toilets
A
at Gainbridge
has a
Fieldhouse.
special
There
bathroom
is
in
no
Indy?
way that man is
In
using a toilet.
Indianapolis.
You think that man is stepping up to the urinal next to Mikey Jones from Muncie, Indiana,
Yes.
from Gary, Indiana,
He
and
looks
saying,
over-
"How about that game? Are
he
we
looks
playing
over-
solitaire together?"
Says, "What's up,
Put yourself
Mikey
in a
Jones?"
put yourself in your private little stall, or hell, I don't use the family restroom. I don't endorse that because
Jessica,
usually
that's
there's a
for
family that needs to use it. But he
and
seems
the
like the kind of guy who
handy-capable.
would just go in and say,
Come
"I need a
on,
bathroom, and it's
Jessica.
here, and it's private."
No.
I'm serious. You cannot be that. But also, like, what's the solution? We're just gonna sit here and over things are gonna happen with Stephen A. Smith, and he's just gonna keep counting his dollars, like Scrooge himself. And it doesn't take away from him. He can do what he wants.
Stephen A. probably did get up in the morning. He probably did 2 or 3 hits on
Yes,
Get Up.
probably.
Then he does First Take. Then I'm sure he's doing some NBA thing.
He has his new radio
in the
show.
afternoon.
I don't
so
know when that's
doing,
starting.
He's doing the radio. Well, he
On
still
Sirius
has one.
XM.
He does one for New York.
Okay.
Right. So I think he does one that's local.
Okay.
So he has the local radio show to do. He has just enough time to go and eat. He hadn't played solitaire all damn day. There's a timeout. He's in the midst of the solitaire game. Action comes back. We're like 20 seconds into or 20 seconds post timeout. He's playing the game. He's like, yo, I've got 3 more moves to make and then I'm done. And then he's back focused. That's why I want to know how long he was playing it during action.
I would have no problem if he was caught scrolling on Twitter or on Instagram. You can even make a case for Instagram. Or texting. Playing solitaire is a choice.
Yeah.
It's a game.
He needs to unwind. And then you know what he does after the game?
Fires off some crazy
gives analysis.
Pointed takes and analysis.
That the halftime. They also, how the hell was he supposed to know? He probably thought it was another commercial break coming. Because they do the commercial break, and then they come back for 15 seconds, and then they go to commercial break, and then they come back for 15 seconds,
though. It was during
and then
the
they
game.
do another commercial break.
All right, that's enough on Stephen A. Smith. Who do you think wins tonight?
Thunder. Home.
Thunder at home.
Thunder at home. Not like Indiana hadn't beat the Thunder at home. So let me give a little bit more analyses to that.
Snotted. Analyses.
I think that the Pacers have yet to figure out how to slow down Jalen Williams.
Mm-hmm.
And if he is going, that takes so much pressure off of SGA.
Right.
And it allows the Dorts, the Wiggins, the Carusos offensively to play a bit freer. Also, I think they figured out how to utilize their 2 big lineup in a way that keeps them from, 1, being run off the court by Pascal Siakam, just up and down, up and down, up and down. And 2, helps them get rebounds. Is not enough for them to just get defensive rebounds. I think one of the things Hartenstein has done super well in this series has been giving them extra possessions. And so many times off of those offensive rebounds, especially with the Thunder, it ends up resulting in a wide open 3 being taken. Now, will they make them or not? I don't know. But if you're going to take a 3, I sure as hell would like for it to be wide the hell open. And they get those with Hartenstein and Chet in there, and Hartenstein's able to go to the glass and get the boards. I think this is a sign of things to come for Mathurin. I think Game 4 was a sign of things to come where he had that big moment Game 3, and it's kind of downhill from here for him. And so if you're not having him out there to add to your depth, it's tough on that perimeter for the Pacers right now. So I'll roll with the
Pacers
Thunder.
haven't lost back-to-back games since March.
Hey, there we go.
Which is intriguing. I'm rolling with the Thunder as well. Back at home, feels like they got through an abysmal game. They're not going to go 3 of 17 from 3 again. I highly doubt, and they're going to have more than 10 assists. Those 2 things feel like outliers for this Pacers team. We will see how it all goes. We have to take one more break, but we will come back. Caitlin Clark was spectacular. I hope you were one of the 20 million people who watched Fever Liberty on Saturday. Most watched game in WNBA history, which was stunning. And Caitlin Clark came back from her injury. We'll get into that. Other storylines. Angel Reese had her first career triple-double. Some stories from the WNBA, U.S. Open, Hot Mess Express, all when we come back.
Have you always dreamed of entertaining on the biggest stage in Memphis? The Claw Crew is looking for members to join their team for the 2025-2026 season. Claw Crew members are hardworking, high-energy entertainers who assist Grizzlies home games by hyping up the crowd and much more. Not only do they support the Grizzlies on home games, but also promote in Memphis and across the Mid-South. Open auditions are Saturday, August 9th at FedEx Forum. Visit grizzlies.com/auditions for more information and to register today.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GBWR.
1, 2, 3. Ready, go.
Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Catch us if you can at Southland Casino Hotel and win your share of up to $1.8 million in free play and prizes. Join us for drawings every Saturday in May, June, and July. Each month, over 900 winners will take home free play or drive off in a new car or motorcycle. Be there for all 6 grand finale drawings and try to catch us if you can, only at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 up. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
These are the Jordan 1, the crystals. These are the shoe that retails for $1,000. Oh, extra crystals. So if your crystals fall off, if your crystals fall off, actually these are the black crystals because they have. So the shoe has black crystals on there as well too. So you get an extra package of black crystals.
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
There are futures for Aaron Judge possibly hitting 400. Hitting 400 at the All-Star break, plus 600.
Oh, wow.
To have a 400 batting average in the regular season, plus 3,800. To win the Triple Crown is only plus 145.
I don't think he's going to hit 400 for the season.
I don't either. I that would be
ridiculous.
Yes, ridiculous.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
It's time for our Pick Six, Mike. 6 classics that we're most looking forward to in the 2025 football season.
Las Vegas, obviously, that's the Grambling State University, Jackson State University clash. They're taking 2 iconic HBCU brands going to an NFL stadium in Las Vegas.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Tough. Join us for the Grind City Media Draft Show presented by Southland Casino on Wednesday, June 25th at 7 p.m. Hear from GCM personalities as they react to draft picks, trades, and more. Download the Grind City Media app and subscribe to the Grind City Media YouTube channel today for all your Grizzlies draft coverage. And that draft show, of course, got a little more interesting with the news that the Grizzlies, as of today, have the 16th pick. Gotta get to the draft board. Gotta get to those fringe lottery guys that we can start getting into potentially for the Grizzlies. I had a really horrific commercial break there. 2 things happened. One, somebody in the chat, shout out Ben, suggested that CJ and I fight like an old married couple. Ew, gross. Do not marry me off to that man. I love our
you,
fans.
Why are you shouting him out? You can love them when they say intelligent things. Not
Well, I
what
just wanted
Ben
to say
is
ew
saying.
gross. I wanted to make it perfectly clear.
Okay, well, you can do that without saying,
Ew,
hey,
gross.
Ben said it.
Second, I got sent held. I got sent held. And when I saw it this morning, it didn't make sense. And so it didn't make sense because it's not true. Liberty Fever was not the most watched WNBA game in history with 20.9 viewers. I do not have the time at this moment to look up. I think it was maybe one of the Caitlin Clark playoff games. I don't know. It has to be something that featured the Fever at this point. But it was not Liberty Fever on Saturday afternoon. That came from an Indiana Fever parody account that uses the Fever logo and sure looks like the Indiana Fever account reposting this. But alas, it was not. That's so embarrassing. Oh, well, you should have watched it. Everybody should have watched it because the Fever handed the Liberty their first loss of the season. We now have no unbeaten teams left in the WNBA this season. And Caitlin Clark did her thing. Coming off of the injury, she returned for the Fever. And I swear I am not being hyperbolic. We were immediately gifted one of the greatest halves we have ever seen in the WNBA. And I say that with all context involved. This series from Caitlin Clark, the pull-up three here, and you are about to see back-to-back-to-back triples for Caitlin Clark in this game. I am not trying to erase the things we have seen from Maya Moore, from Diana Taurasi, Asia Wilson's 53-point game, Stewie, Cynthia Cooper. Like, we have seen incredible halves of basketball, but you see Caitlin Clark coming off of that made three from the Liberty. Pull up, of course. She's making it in that moment. And then the next play, going to come off a stop here from the New York Liberty. You can already tell that Caitlin Clark is feeling it, and she's going to want the ball. And she's going to keep asking for the ball, and you're going to see other clips of her from the game asking for the ball as well. But she's going to find it until she gets it. Comes off this little screen right here, hands in the face, and that is just a ridiculous shot. Those were three from the parking lot threes for Caitlin Clark, which is what she does. And the Fever are right back in that game. It's the end of the first quarter, and ultimately they go on to win this one. And it was a game that they should have won. Like, I want to be clear with that too. The Fever should have beat the Liberty because the Liberty were without Jonquel Jones. The Liberty were without Febich, so they're down two starters. But the Fever rose to the occasion, and Caitlin Clark coming back in this one was just unreal.
You remember how bad she was? Remember how bad she was shooting it the 2 games prior to having to.
Guess what? She was hurt. Weird.
Clearly, she was hurt.
Clearly, a girl was injured.
She came in and just let them fly. That's fun to watch, man.
She let the threes fly.
Yeah.
She let the trash talk fly.
Oh, the moment she had with Stewie was pretty funny.
She hit a step back because that's the thing too. You're like, okay, well, is she making some of those shots if it's Jonquel Jones out on her? She had a step back over Brianna Stewart.
And
right
laughed
over her and laughed in her face.
They were both like,
which was great. Like that's how it should be.
Camaraderie. Like, I made that shot. Can you believe it? You should. I'm Caitlin Bleeping Clark. Act like you know, right? Like, Stewie was also like, how the hell did you make it? It wasn't like, haha, you suck. It was a
game respect game moment.
Competitors respecting one another moment.
32 points, 11 of 20 shooting, 7 of 14 for three from Caitlin Clark. Helps the Fever go 17 of 35 from three. It's incredible how much better their shooting gets when Caitlin Clark is out there making 7 of them. And also, she flirted with a triple-double. She had 9 assists and 8 rebounds. 32 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds.
Where do you put the Fever?
Right under.
Are they,
in that mix? I still have them under because, again, the Liberty were without 2 starters.
Okay, are they the first team behind? I'm in agreement with you. Everybody is looking up at Liberty Lynx.
Yes.
Are they the first team behind Liberty Lynx?
No.
Who would you put
because
in
based on head-to-head, I'm putting the Dream.
Okay.
But even though the Fever, I mean, they split with them, right?
I think so.
So they're right in there.
Yes, Jessica, they are right in there, but where are you putting them?
I need to see a few more games in their totality.
Well, if you want to be a reasonable person, go ahead.
I'm so sorry. I want to be reasonable.
I don't know
but
why
again,
we want to be reasonable.
It's such a clear distinction still. It is Liberty Lynx here, and then it is Fever, Dream, Storm.
You're putting the Storm in that group.
I am putting the Storm in that group.
Sun in that group? Not Sun. Mercury.
Sun.
Phoenix Suns. The Connecticut Sun, the Mercury
Both
play in Phoenix, and I always want to call the Mercury the Sun because of throwing the Mercury in that group as well. If you're throwing the Storm in, okay.
Yeah,
throwing the Aces in there.
By history, like they have to be better than what they are.
We said
right
that
now.
last
I know.
year, and they aren't.
So no. So okay, if I'm actually being like a fair designation markers, it is Dream, Mercury, Storm, Fever, and then another line.
Okay.
And then you would do Aces.
Everybody not
Mystics,
Sky and Sun.
Valkyries.
Hey.
A lot of their
Hey.
players are playing overseas now, but they've been good. They got another win over the weekend. I'm past the point of being mad when they win. Now I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's what we do.
You're better earlier than I expected. Yeah, we throw them B's up. Throw them B's up. But no, it is, again, we talked about it when Caitlin was out. Like, the Fever are built for Caitlin Clark.
Mm-hmm.
That is her team, and everything operates in such a more efficient way. I know they weren't able to sign Ari McDonald, and that was a great fit for an injury replacement when they needed her. But as long as Caitlin Clark is healthy, this team will go as far and as healthy as Caitlin Clark allows them to go. And they made the necessary moves around her to be a team that takes a significant leap forward and doesn't just make a first round. The first round is not enough. Like, you want to make a deep run in the playoffs. You want to get to a point where you're having a question of, do they belong in the same category as the Liberty and the Lynx? And they're not light years behind that. And you saw that in the first matchup with the Liberty too. That went down to the wire. But it was just an impressive performance. 102 to 88, put up 102 points on that Liberty team. Liberty are just fine. But
yeah, both teams suffered losses this weekend, didn't they? Lynx
was going into the weekend.
Lynx was going in, okay. And Liberty, I missed this one, but I did catch most of Dream Mystics, I want to say, yesterday. And oh boy, Allisha Gray was out of control. She took 14 shots. How many points do you think she had? 14 shots.
24.
30 effing 2.
Oh.
32 points on 14 shots. Are you kidding me? She was 6 for 9 from 3. She was doing whatever she wanted to do. She was getting whatever she wanted to get on the court, and she was drilling them things. It was incredible to stop and watch that.
Did I hear you last week? I meant to ask you this. Did you whisper Allisha Gray MVP?
Hey,
Are you trying to take away from MVP?
Better whisper. Gotta whisper.
Nafisa Collier's a word to lose.
I understand that. Nafisa Collier. In MVP for now. Yes, I understand that.
You have the fee.
I understand that.
You can't really say you have the fever because there is the fever. Anyway,
Yeah,
I digress.
I understand why some would say that.
Yes.
I'm just going to say this.
Just whispering.
Very, very quietly. Allisha Gray, top 10 in WNBA points per game. She's number 6. She's just outside of the top 10 in assists per game as well. She's got this dream team balling out of control right now. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it. I'm whispering right now.
Okay.
Allisha Gray, MVP. Just shh. Right now is a whisper.
Okay, thank you.
We'll see what else happens.
Something I'm going to say at full volume. I know we said we were going to let the Sky incubate this season, not really talk about them anymore. But in a battle of the really bad teams, the Connecticut Sun, not the Phoenix Sun, the Sky did win 78-66. And Angel Reese had her first career triple-double. 11 points, 13 rebounds, 10 assists. She is one of 2 players in the WNBA to have a triple-double this season. It is her, and it is Caitlin Clark. Let's do it again. No, I'm just kidding. Let's not. Let's please not do it again. We have talked excessively about the Sky and their experiment with Angel Reese at point forward and by necessity, especially coming out of the Courtney Vandersloot injury. I don't love point forward Angel Reese long term, but what I do really like about it was on display in this triple-double, and it is making her a more confident passer. And if she can pass out of the post, that is something that can be such a positive for the Chicago Sky, and having her greatest quality, her rebounding, lead to more opportunities. Now, a part of that is her teammates have to make shots, and her teammates made shots in this game, which allowed her to ultimately get a triple-double. I still would love to see her improve on her finishing around the rim. I think that's a significant movement forward that she needs in order to take her game to the next level. But you cannot deny, she had a triple-double. Triple-doubles are hard to come by, and I think it shows that there is an exciting window of growth. No matter how bad the Sky are, she has remained pretty, what's the word? Supportive of Tyler Marsh through this period, and you know what he's had to inherit with the Sky, and at times looking a bit in over his head. But there does seem to be a positive connectivity for this as a growing year for the Sky, and that's what it is. It is a rebuild, it is a growth year, but there's a lot of room for Angel Reese in that process.
Angel Reese made 2 shots and
Yes.
ended up with a triple-double.
So
She
I would love
had,
to see her improve.
I think she had more blocks and steals. I think she had like 2 of one, 3 of the other one. as well to go along with the triple-double. And that's impressive. It is. We have decided as a basketball viewing public that triple-doubles are good. That triple-doubles are things that warrant you being impressed. So even though she only took 7 shots and even though she only made 2 of them in her route to get the triple-double, that's still impressive. And if you think about, she's in her second year, things are not where they should be for the Chicago Sky. This is not a competitive team right now in terms of chasing the playoffs, let alone chasing a WNBA finals appearance or anything like that. You have to find the little moments of victory where you can, and this is one of those moments where that front office, that coaching staff can point to and say, hey, yo, this is what we want her to be, more of a facilitator on the offensive end. And we've got WNBA players at that position who do a great job of that. AT does a tremendous job of being somebody, a big, who you can run your offense through, who can facilitate, who gets a whole bunch of assists, who can finish around the rim as well. And her arms don't go all the way up, right? Like Angel Reese's arms go all the way up. So imagine what she would be able to do. Breanna Stewart does that as a big who can be a playmaker for others and still a defensive force on that side of the ball. So if this is what you're saying you think Angel Reese can be, hey, go ahead. This is the season to do it, because it's not a whole lot of other good stuff that's going to be happening for the Chicago Sky this year. So tip of the cap to Angel Reese. And I look forward to seeing this experiment play out, because I, like you, not really sure where we're going with this Point Angel thing. Not really sure where we're going.
I would like to see Haley Van Lith get a little more run. She had 16 points off the bench.
Okay.
I would just like to see more. Because why not? Because why not?
Why not? I am curious about Van Lith. I got questions about athleticism, and I'm trying to decipher whether or not that is my prejudices. Or not, but I think that she can be a bit slow of foot from time to time. So I give her more time out there. It's an incubate season. Just throw her out there and see what happens. Let chips fall where they may. And that is somebody who I think can be when things so much about that rookie wall and rookie development. We see dudes go through it here all the time. Is, hey, when things stop going your way, when you're no longer exceeding expectations, because let's be honest, nobody knows what to expect from you. And now people put expectations on you and you stop meeting those expectations. Right. Hey, what do you do? What are you? I think Van Lith is tough enough for it to be a, hey, I know what is expected. I'm not meeting that moment. I think she's tough enough mentally to be able to push through that sort of a barrier and that sort of a wall.
And I also think the Sky, at least as of now, in terms of being in a position to like work through in a development year, different situation than what you're seeing in Dallas. I didn't watch the Wings game over the weekend, but I saw the argument that Dejanay Carrington had. There was some call that she didn't agree with, asked the coach to challenge it. He didn't listen to her, and then they kind of popped up. Like, that feels as if it's escalating to a point where the players are fighting with the coach, and how you have a one-win Wings team when you have Paige Beckers and Arike and Carrington. It symbolizes, like, should they be great? No. Should they have one win? No. So bad teams can experience different seasons, and it feels like you're having a Sky bad season that perhaps has some promise and something to grasp onto, which is wild, because I wouldn't have said that maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
We didn't say that
That's
last
coming
week.
out of, honestly, it's coming out of the situation like the Angel post-game press conference that we talked about. Anyway, things to continue to look at. Other best thing I saw this weekend, I know we don't talk about golf often on the show, but I did find myself watching the U.S. Open, and I had become a fan of JJ Spawn for all of 72 hours. I was sitting eating pizza on Friday night watching Game 4, and we were at a pizza restaurant, and they had the U.S. Open on one of the other TVs, and JJ Spawn popped up, and he just looked like a regular dude. I was like, I like that guy. And coming out of the first round, he was in the lead. Coming out of Friday, second round, I believe he was in second. I think he was just one stroke off the lead. But I decided I'm going to root for JJ Spawn, because this U.S. Open seems a little chaotic, and Oakmont as a course, notoriously difficult. It's like Hunger Games arena style, where they try to make it as tough as possible, and it's always interesting to see who ends up being competitive. And to look at a guy like JJ Spawn, I started going through his career resume, and grew up in Los Angeles, played at San Diego State, had been a journeyman professional to that point. And prior to the weekend, his best finish had been a tie for 23rd in the 2022 Masters. He had never won a major championship and had never finished above tied for 23rd. And that was in 2022. And here he is in contention at Oakmont. And then Sunday, it seemed like it all fell apart. Like he bogeyed 5 of his first 6 holes. Watching the U.S. Open is fun from a golf standpoint. And as someone who played around a golf this weekend, it makes you feel almost like the pros are just like you, even though they are light years ahead of you, but some of their chips look like my chips trying to get out of the rough. Like, ooh, that was horrible. That looks like something that I did. There was a relatability factor to watching the U.S. Open. And when JJ falls out, you're like, oh, that's too bad. Whatever. There's a rain delay happens. It was raining sideways. They had to clear the course. And when they came back on, JJ Spawn changed his clothes because he wanted a total, reset. And suddenly, he's the hottest player on the golf course. And he had like a crazy 22-foot birdie putt. He had this great drive on 17. And he walks up to the 18th hole, and we're locked and loaded on the couch at this point. And Chris was very disappointed. Inning counter, we put a pin in that. Need to add to the inning counter. I watched Sunday Night Baseball. I watched Giants-Dodgers. Watched like 4.5 innings. 4.5? Yeah, as we flipped back and forth and then had to watch it at the end. It was Father's Day for Chris, and Chris wanted to honor his dad and get back into his Giants fandom. Anyway, all that to say.
You said it was Father's Day for Chris. I was like, oh, is that news?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
But it was funny because he got me a present for Mother's Day, like not a future present. It was just nice. He was like, as the future mother of my child, like, here's a nice necklace. I was like, oh, that's so nice. And then I realized I didn't get him anything for Father's Day.
As well, you shouldn't. Fathers don't get anything for Father's Day.
I watched baseball. That feels like a gift in him. Anyway, JJ Spawn, all he has to do is birdie putt to win. And the rain is coming down again, the umbrella is out, and you just talk about dramatic moments. And I've been watching just sports presentation really critically because of all the NBA discourse. Golf on NBC, tremendous job because the drama's playing out. It's little talking. It's letting it just breathe. And he steps up to this putt, and Hovland had a putt similar to his. Like, he was able to get the read on the putt, and you're thinking he might be able to take advantage of that, right? One of the most beautiful putts you will ever see. Like, one of the golf highlights. If you ever have a JJ Spawn highlight reel, it will lead it no matter what because I don't know how he tops it. But it's a 64-foot birdie putt with just this crazy curve. And he wins his first major championship. And it was such an incredible end to it all. It's always cool at U.S. Open on Father's Day. JJ Spawn has 2 kids. Apparently, he had been at CVS that morning picking up medicine because his daughter had been sick overnight, so he had barely slept. And getting to see him celebrate with his kids and his wife is always a special thing. But the golf was awesome this weekend. And shout out JJ Spawn, who now I can say I'm a fan of a U.S. Open champion. It was a beautiful thing. You didn't watch any of the golf, I assume.
No.
That's okay. I didn't mean to assume.
Yo, you can. You can definitely assume that with me.
I know.
During
the break, they did go back to some Tiger Woods highlights. I was like, oh, anytime there's a break, they're like, bust out the Tiger highlights.
How many times have I watched Tiger play?
Yeah.
I'm just, no.
Not even a handful?
No. I caught that one. And by one, I mean the last putt that he made to win this last major. I caught that moment. I caught him walking to the green. So that's all I've seen of Tiger Woods. Golf is not my jam. Tiger
You're a
wasn't
tennis guy. It's okay. It's understandable.
Hey, I got to do what I got to do, man. Got to get ready for the U.S. or French or whatever the Opens are.
We went to open one of the tennis rackets yesterday.
Wait, why were y'all playing tennis?
We just wanted to play. And then we both were like, we can't get hurt. Like, our spouses would kill us. Like, my dad's in his 70s. I have not played tennis since coming off my Achilles. And my dad's very good about, he just lets it bounce at this point, right? Like, he'll take like 4 bounces. I immediately wanted to win. I'm like crisscrossing all over the court. I'm in my Hokas. I refuse to let anything die. He's like, let it bounce. I'm like, no. But anyway, it was a fun time. We played tennis all the time growing up. My uncle was a tennis coach. And so...
when's the last time y'all played tennis?
My dad and I?
Yes.
Oh, God, years.
Yeah, like that's...
Years and years.
You guys don't... Listen.
So it was so fun.
I know
I played tennis with Chris in like 2021.
I know I make it look easy. I know I do. But it's not. You don't have to go out there and do that.
How's your serve?
Atrocious. What do you mean?
Are you at the point yet in your tennis?
No, not yet.
Do you full serve or do you just...
No, I just throw it up and just try and boop.
Okay.
Just little bloop, just put it over there.
Nice.
That's all I'm trying to do.
Do you scratch the back?
I have
That's
no
how I
idea.
learned to surf.
I have no
Scratch the
idea what
bat,
you're talking
eye on the
about.
ball, down.
I have no idea. I just throw it up and say, I want to hit it there. Please, God, go over there. And then I open my eyes after I hit it.
Oh, man.
And
I
then
would buy every
it's there.
little Serena Williams, Venus Williams Nike set.
Well, you know we're
thinking
playing.
that I was going to be a star.
You know we're practicing Thursday.
I'm
We're
gone.
That's
For your holiday, I'm letting.
Oh, well,
Thank
good.
you so much.
Oh, we're not practicing Thursday because
you
of my
go.
holiday.
There you go.
We're going to have to do it some other time. I got to let Kyra know.
We're off on Thursday.
That we're everybody. This is everybody's notice. We're all for Juneteenth. We're
We
not
are.
in.
All right, quick Hot Mess Express before we get out of here. Which one do you
What?
want? Which one do you want? Dealer's
Whichever one-
choice.
Whichever one you do. I don't know.
The man who broke the chair. All right, fine.
You got to stop touching the art, man.
So there was a situation in Venice over the weekend at an art museum, and Venice, Italy, and a patron decided to try to sit on something called the Van Gogh chair, which was a chair made of nothing but Swarovski crystals. And this is what happened when he decided to sit in the piece of art. It broke. I saw this immediately. I said, what state is this man from? Not what country is this
Florida.
man from. I said, is he?
That's what I thought he was
I
from.
never could get confirmation.
No, he's
on
from.
where
He's from over there.
Oh,
I'm
this
pretty sure
looks
he's
like
from,
such an American move.
I'm pretty sure he's from Italy or wherever this
This looked
artwork
like
is.
such an American move.
Yes. Yes, it does. It
The
is.
picture of the chair is broken. They were able to fix it. They put it back
He
together.
did, and he didn't.
They bailed.
As well, you should.
You're on camera. You don't think you're on camera
Catch
in an art
me.
museum?
Catch me. You're going to have to catch me. There's no way in hell I'm telling on myself. Are you kidding me? Also, he barely touched it. Like it was just one cheek. So it's not like he sat all the way back. No, he was just like little booty cheek, and then it crumbled.
Not just a little booty cheek.
Like that. Sometimes you hit him with a little booty cheek, and things crumble, man. Like I don't know. That wasn't sturdy to begin with, which is why you shouldn't touch the art.
Have you ever been around somebody who broke a chair? In real life?
Yes.
Was it horrible?
It was hilarious. Every time, no
Yours
matter
was
what
fine.
happens.
Mine was awful.
What do you mean
Mine was
it's
in
awful?
elementary school.
What's awful
Somebody
about
got
that?
up in reading time
Uh-huh.
and sat in the chair and it broke.
What's awful about that?
Because kids are mean.
Yeah.
Kids are so mean. I remember I still
what
feel
we
bad.
should
I
be.
still
That's
feel bad
funny.
for her. I will never say her name. I still remember her name and everything that happened
She
around
was a
that.
child and
we
it
were
broke?
we were in 4th grade.
She didn't laugh?
No.
Why not?
It was horrible.
I've broken chairs and laughed. I broke a whole banister. I was
was
leaning
so
on a
sad.
banister at my grandmama's house on the porch, and I broke it. And I go feet first, head first, feet up in the air. Hilarious.
Boy-girl thing different.
Oh, whatever.
Absolutely a different kind. All right. Sorry we didn't show the Dumb and Dumber people with Stephen A. Smith and Kendrick Perkins on it. I forgot to do that when we did the solitaire Stephen A. Smith moment. It's been a lot. We appreciate everybody for joining us on this big day. Desmond Bane, we appreciated you. We will see everybody back on Tuesday. Have a great day. Bye.